Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to do a figure of 8 wire weave, and I'm going to show you both how to do it with 2 base wires here, and when showing a normal weave and then a more open weave, and then also how to add in more base wires, and in this case I'm showing it with 3, so again a normal weave and a more open weave. And this is a very commonly used weave and useful for many different things, so if you want to learn more, then stay tuned. So what I'm going to start out with is showing you the weave with 2 base wires. And I'm using 2 lengths of my 1mm silver coated wire here to demonstrate with. And then for the weaving wire, I'm using a 0.4mm copper wire here. So to start with, I'm first going to pick up one of my base wires here, because we need to attach the weaving wire to that first. So I'll put my weaving wire behind my base wire and just leave a bit of a tail there, and then just wrap around the weaving wire around the base wire, just once for now, so it's attached there. And then I'm going to bring in the other wire, the other base wire there, and then place that above the base wire and on top of the weaving wire. So it's going to be sitting like this. So I now have my 2 base wires there next to each other. So this is the bottom one, down here, the one where we attach the weaving wire. And what we're going to do then is now start make the actual weave. So I'm going to go back around the bottom wire again. That means going down in between the 2. And then this time, instead of going around the bottom again, I'm going to switch up to go around the top one. Just like that. And just use that tail, put it out of the way and use that to hold on to. And then again, we need to come around the top wire on its own. So that means I go down in between the 2, and then I wrap around the top one again. So just like that. So now what we have is 2 wraps around the bottom and then 2 wraps around the top. And this is what we're going to basically keep doing. So that's 2. Go back to the bottom again, wrap around that. And the way that I find most comfortable is just to go around the outside and then down between the 2 wires, so down the middle. You can also come up through the middle if that's how it works out for you. Gives you the exact same result. So that's twice around the bottom again, around the top one, down through the middle, once, and once more, down through the middle, just like that. So now we're slowly starting to build up the weave there. So it's the way that your weaving wire is going around your base wires that's making that figure of 8 shape. If you basically look from the end of your wires there, if you could do that. So imagine if these are your 2 wires, the figure of 8 shape will go around one, down in between, around the other, down in between, around one, down in between, and keep going like this. So that's basically the path that we're going. The only difference is we're going around each wire twice. So it's still the figure of 8, we're just adding in an extra wrap to make this weave itself a bit more sturdy. Otherwise it will become quite loose and a bit more uneven as well. But it's still a figure of 8. And also I'm just doing 2, you could quite easily add more wraps per wire and then swap over. That's completely up to you. So just continue like this. Like I said, it's a figure of 8 weave and I'm just doing 2 wraps around each wire. You can quite easily do more, just like I said. It all depends on the look that you want. And this is then a weave where it's quite tight. So where your base wires align right next to each other, you'll achieve this effect. But what you can also do is use this wire weave to make an open weave in between your wires. So how you do that is just simply create the opening that you want. I'm just going to bend out my wires here to show you the effect that you can get. So just whatever shape that you kind of want to fill out with wire, you can quite easily use this weave for, and it's quite commonly used for this as well. So what I'm going to do is just the exact same technique. We just have open space in between the wires now instead of having them right next to each other. So again, going around the bottom twice, and then up to the top again twice. So the exact same weave. We're just doing it around an open space now. and then gradually more and more you'll be able to see the effect that it can give you. And again, the same principle. This is going to be kind of a nice and tight weave because I'm doing 2 wraps around each wire. You can easily do more wraps in between each wire, so the weave that you're going to get crossing over there in the middle is going to be a lot more open and spaced out. But that's completely up to you, and obviously depending on what you're making, how you want it to look. But then by constantly as well pushing down your wraps as you go, it'll become nice and even and also nice and strong, this weave. We're starting to see it more now. It's becoming an open weave, just like that. So you just continue doing this, obviously however long you need to, what suits your project. And then that's how you make an open weave, and basically you can fill in a shape with this weave as well. So the next way that you can use this weave is by using more base wires. So for this I'm just going to demonstrate with 3, but you can also easily use even more than this. So it's going to be the exact same technique. So I'm going to start out with one of my base wires here and just attach my weaving wire first of all. So put it behind and then just wrap it around once just to get it attached so we can start working with it. And then I'm going to bring in another wire here. So it goes above the first one and on top of the weaving wire, and then also the third one here. So we now have our 3 wires, base wires, and again I'm starting out having them lying right flat next to each other there. So what we need to do is the same principle. So I've already wrapped around the bottom one once, so I'm going to just do that again, because again I'm going to just wrap around all of them twice, so the outer wires there, just like I just showed you in the previous one. And then what we need to do to incorporate 3 wires into this is go under the next one and then come up between the top 2. So basically every time there's a base wire you weave in and out, or over and under. So I've gone around the bottom one 2 times, around, down, in between, around, down, in between, come behind the middle one and then up between the top and the middle one, just like that. And at the beginning it's just going to be a little bit loose still until we get some wrapping done. But then I'm going to go around the top one, around the outside like this, and then up between where it just came up. So in the same place to wrap around the outer one twice again. Just like that. So I've now wrapped around twice on both sides. So now we're in a position where to come back down we need to go over the middle one instead of going behind like before. And that's how we incorporate the middle one into the weave. So over it, so down in between the bottom 2. Then back around the bottom one twice. Just like that. And then up behind the middle one and come up between the middle and the top one. So the top 2. Just like that. And then wrap around the top one twice, just to secure the weave in place, like that. And then now we're coming in front of the middle one. So we're alternating between going behind the middle one and in front, and behind and in front, depending what direction we're coming from. So just like this, wrap around twice and come behind to go up to do the top wire. And that's how you incorporate more than just the 2 base wires. So it'd be the same if you're using 4. You'd also just wrap around the outer one twice, and then however many wires you have in the middle between the 2 outer ones, you just go over, under, over, under. So, and it'll be the opposite when you come back down again. So that's how you incorporate more base wires to this weave. Now again, what we can do as well when we have more base wires, just like when we just had 2 base wires, is that we can make this into an open weave. So what I would do, for example, if you've done a piece and you have multiple wires left and you want to make a bail, quite often you might end up with more than just 2 base wires. So this is another way to then make an open weave if you want to make a bit of a feature. I'm going to bend out the 2 outer ones a little bit, like that, and I'm just going to leave the middle one straight, because we're just going to make the open weave look like this. So obviously you want to first position your base wires how you want your weave to sit and end up, and then you want to start weaving just like the first time I showed you. So just continue the exact same weave around the bottom one twice, go behind the middle one, come up between the middle one and the top one, and then around the top one twice. Up between the middle one and the top one to then come in front of the middle one. And then just continue like this. So as you can see, the exact same principle, just making it an open weave instead. And just like with the two base wires, you can also wrap around more than twice on the outside ones. That's completely up to you and depends what you want. You can kind of say, especially with if you make an open weave here, it'll give more of an impact. If you want a bit more of an actual open weave spacing wise, then you can wrap more on the outer wires here, but that's completely up to you. So this is how you then make the figure of 8 weave with more than 2 base wires. So this is then how it can look when you've gotten a bit further. You get this really nice and even weave. So it's open at the top here, but it's still nice and tight because I've just done 2 wraps around the outsides. But like I said, that's up to you. So this is the one with 3 base wires, and then the one with 2 base wires. The same principle, we're just adding more base wires depending on your project. So I hope this tutorial was useful for you, and thank you very much for watching. Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make this wire woven bracelet. And this is what it looks like. So it's lots of lengths of wires woven together, but then you have a colour in there to break it up. So if you want to learn how to make that, then keep watching. And here are the things that